fanboys would hate this.
For sure. And I think they know that. Well, obviously, they know that. Come on. So that's not what they're shooting for.
Heath Slater
that's
was there,
okay.
too. That's another one we forgot to talk about. Heath Slater, because they were sitting out during the Boner Yard match, drunk on some lawn chairs.
Oh, yeah. Just chilling out, relaxing, maxing all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of the school. And a couple of guys, Sex Ferguson and Chad Too Bad, they were up to no good. Started making trouble in their neighborhood. That's when their mama got scared and they said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air."
I loved this so fucking much. From beginning to end, it was just a beautiful train wreck.
Like, even the great thing about when you make something so horrible it's good is even the bad stuff is good. Not everything is great, but it's still good.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the commentary lends to that. And I said this to you before we started recording. It's reminiscent of ICP and their Stranglemania commentary, where they just take pre-recorded wrestling matches and they just put in the most vulgar and funny and off-the-wall and bullshit commentary you can think of. And it makes those matches better.
It does.
I have both Stranglemania DVDs, and I also have some deathmatch DVDs that have those exact same matches. And
Stranglemania is better.
Yeah, they're different without Guido and I can't think of Violent J's name on there, but without the two of them doing their commentary.
Yeah.
It's
that'd be
different.
like watching any of the movies Mystery Science Theater spoofed without the commentary.
Right, yeah, it isn't the same. Yeah, that's a perfect example, Paystee.
Yes. And then, of course, WWE's answer back to this wonderful worst pay-per-view of all time was to air Raw Underground.
I haven't got a chance to watch it. I don't know that I'll get a chance to watch it.
You know, they had, like, non-WWE guys in the ring when they first showed it off, and so it was cool to see, like, this big dude beat the shit out of this little dude, and, like, I was like, is it shoot? Is it fake? Those elbows look pretty fake. And then they brought in real wrestlers from WWE, and you were like, oh, yeah, this shit is way fake. What's the point? I don't know. If you haven't saw it, Raw Underground takes place during the third hour of Raw. Not the entire time. They just cut to it every now and then. It's in a darkened portion of the Performance Center in a ring with no ropes and no turnbuckles. And there's strippers. And then a bunch of guys who just want to fight each other standing around the ring. And it was horrible.
I will say I'm a proponent of the faction of... What is it? MVP, Bobby Lashley, and who's the other one?
Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin. I'm a fan of that faction.
I'm all for that, yeah.
Like, that sounds awesome, but I don't want to see it in a fucking Brad Pitt, Edward Norton Fight Club thing.
Right.
Let's just... How about we have that on our show that we need to improve? Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe. They were introduced in the
No, they were on Raw beforehand too.
Oh, but weren't they on the
They came and they took over apparently. Yeah, they apparently took over at the end of the night.
Oh, okay.
But
I guess the only picture I've seen of them was on that, and I just know because there was no ropes and it was dark. So
yeah, they did. They what came out to beat up Apollo Crews, I think, on Raw, and then they went to Raw.
I do. I mean, I honestly love that stable. To me, those are three amazing athletes, and you got MVP who can fucking talk. Like, he's your talker.
Yeah.
You got you got Bobby Lashley, who's your muscle, and you got Shelton Benjamin, who's your workhorse.
Yeah, your technical
That's
guy.
That's a perfect. You couldn't come up with a better 3-man team. So
Right.
that's awesome. But let's.
Oh man,
Let's
I
use
want to
them how
see
they need to
them
be used.
versus the full might. Xavier Woods has to come back with the full might of New Day. That'd be fun.
That actually would be that'd be a really good match.
One thing that was pointed out, every single match on Raw involved an African American superstar, which is something I'm both proud of and disgusted by at the same time. You know what I mean?
No, why are you disgusted by it? That's not a big hot topic right now.
But it's been a big hot topic, and WWE is still just trying to. It's just, I don't know. It's weird.
Hey, let's just be proud there's enough African Americans that are employed by them and who haven't been released that they can do that. Let's make the most positive out of it.
Yeah.
Let's just assume the best. Let's assume they didn't plan it that way. And let's assume that there's just that many great, talented African Americans that they were able to do that. I want to go that direction. I don't watch the program, so I don't know. But I would like to. But I'd like to assume that.
I only watched it because they said they were debuting a new faction, so I thought maybe it was Undisputed Era. They still haven't unveiled that faction, though.
I thought it was going to be UE, but it was the
or they call it Retribution is what they're called, and we don't know. No, it's not. It's not. It's another gang. It's the Hackers faction apparently. The one who's been hacking since before WrestleMania.
Who
whatever.
are they?
We don't know yet. It's at least 4 or 5 guys in black hoodies, and they threw rocks at a transformer and blew it up.
So they didn't tell us who it was.
No, they didn't tell us who it was, and they brought Shane McMahon back to debut Raw Underground, which is something they didn't talk about before the show. But they talked about the faction. The faction was to get you there, and then once you were there, they're going to make you sit and watch Raw Underground.
Well, I hope Undisputed Era isn't the people throwing rocks at Transformers.
Well, apparently Adam Cole got knocked the fuck out by the kicker for NFL that he just got in that fake shoot fight with on the podcast. We talked about it last week. Knocked out Adam Cole. So they're gonna do what they were gonna do to Adam Cole on the main roster and bury him with a celebrity, but on NXT. That's disgusting. Right. That's some weird shit. But I suppose now we can probably crack on into this week's Savage Sentinel. What do you think about that?
There's not a lot here, but what we have is pretty fucking juicy, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're going to start off, Paystee. Police in Columbus, Georgia, are reportedly investigating former Midnight Rocker Marty Jannetty over a bizarre Facebook post that he made Wednesday morning. Jannetty posted about how he allegedly murdered a gay man who tried to sexually assault him behind a Victory Lanes bowling alley where they both worked when Jannetty was 13 years old. He said he had been buying marijuana from the man, and Jannetty also indicated that he got rid of the body by dumping it in the Chattahoochee River.
Chattahoochee. Way down yonder by the Chattahoochee. You know that? No? Okay. A spokesperson for the Columbus Police Homicide and Cold Case Division said, quote, "We are going to look into this. The first step will be seeing if we have any missing persons or unidentified remains cases that match the limited information in the post. Now, the Jannetty investigation won't receive priority and won't be any kind of, quote, all-hands-on-deck investigation, and they will have to remain, hold on, all-hands-on-deck situation. As the spokesperson noted, that they have several current active homicide investigations underway and will have to remain the priority.
Jannetty mentioned in his original post that his brother Gino had just returned from the Vietnam War when the incident happened. The former WWE Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion was born in February 1960, so he would have turned 13 in 1973 when he says the event happened. The Vietnam War officially ended in April 1975, but troops had been returning at various times before the war ended. For what it's worth, the Chattahoochee River does run through the Columbus area, and there are also records of Victory Lane's Family Bowling Center in Columbus around that time, and the facility was located on Fort Benning Road, which is right next to the Chattahoochee River. Marty Jannetty, he's a big storyteller. He talks a lot about these 13-year-old girls that want to fuck him, and should I date this 16-year-old girl, and he always has something to say. I guess I personally don't buy this. I think it's an attention grab, but wow, if it's real, Paystee.
I mean, either way, he should be locked up, right? For if he did it, or if he's just spinning the story to garner attention.
I mean, one way he should be locked up in prison, one way he should be locked up in a mental institute. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This old Marty Jannetty always keeps digging more and more holes.
Yeah, he does. So weird. What do you think? Do you think he did it?
No. I think he's lying. He talks a lot. He talks an awful lot. And I think if you did it, you wouldn't just throw it on Facebook.
Unless he had a moment of clarity.
Unless you wanted... Well, no, unless you wanted attention.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe he'll get picked up by CZW now or something.
CZW.
Yeah. Fat Mack. It was revealed over the weekend that Scott Steiner's Shoney's Kitchen Bar and Franchise in Ainsworth, Georgia has been closed down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Steiner and his wife opened the restaurant back in 2016 and released a statement saying, "We have closed this business due to COVID-19. We appreciate your patronage over the last 4 years." The Shoney's had been open until this past weekend when they abruptly announced that they were closing, another victim of the pandemic. Although Steiner wrote on Twitter, "We're doing the math, and we're opening a sports bar instead."
Him and his math.
Open a sports bar when there's no sports to watch. Scott Steiner, what are you thinking?
God damn it. Do the math, Steiner. Do the math.
He did the Steiner math. It equated sports bar. "We're going to open an amphitheater where everybody can gather around."
Yeah. I always wanted to hit up the Scott Steiner Shoney's, so I'm disappointed it's gone because I really wanted to check it out. But that's just me. It is what it is. I'm not hurt by it.
We'll just have to go to a sports bar.
I guess so. Talking about sports, maybe in the sports bar you can watch the XFL because Paystee, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, is teaming up with his ex-wife and a top sports management company to buy the bankrupt XFL Football League for $15 million. That seems like pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. I'm sure The Rock's house cost more than that.
Oh, yeah, fuck yeah, it does. Johnson, who is a former WWE wrestling star who has become one of Hollywood's most bankable action heroes, and the partners are purchasing the assets of the XFL from Alpha Entertainment, a private company that was founded by WWE Chairman CEO Vince McMahon. But even though the XFL didn't score a financial or ratings touchdown back then, some fans, I don't know who, still have hope for a new football league that could challenge the NFL.
I tell you what, I've never once in my life said, I really don't like